Hey you guys, it's me Gemstone from www.tarotforhealing.com. Hope you guys are doing really well. Now, this is your monthly astrological reading for the month of June. This reading is for Sagittarius. I hope all of you guys are doing really well. Now, you guys know I always have to change things up. I have to do things differently every month. I just feel like compelled to do that. I like change. So I always try to switch it up in a different way, but this change isn't just based on something I just decided to do. It's more something I felt really guided to do because I've been connecting so deeply, like, with my ancestors, specifically my great great grandma, and she used to read with playing cards. And so I decided to use playing cards this month for you guys and sort of give a general message through the playing cards, and then get into most like specific areas of your life using the Illuminati tarot. So let's get into the reading. Now, the cards that showed up for you as your playing cards is the King of Hearts, the Seven of Clubs, the King of Diamonds, and the Two of Diamonds. And so what I'm seeing here is I feel like you're really going to be in authority in the month of June. I feel like you're really going to be standing up for yourself and standing up for other people. It's like I can almost feel like your heart is going to really, you're going to really feel sympathetic to the needs of others. And it's almost like when I look at these cards, I almost see somebody that is like protesting because of a cause, maybe to do with vulnerable people, to do with humanity, animals, like something like that. Or even if it's not taking place on like a big scale like that, it could be maybe doing some kind of charity work, humanitarian work, or it could even just be taking, it could be just a case of you doing something even just locally, or let's say you're in a certain situation where you see some kind of injustice take place, and you just are the one person to like just say, oh no, that wasn't right for you to do, or whatever else, like just sort of putting one person in their place and saying, no, you're not within your rights to do that to this other person, or even to you. So it's almost like I can really see you, either you're standing up for either somebody else or standing up for yourself this month when it comes to other people. And the reason why you're doing that is coming from a place of being sympathetic, being caring, and being loving. And I think that's just your nature anyway. I think you are a sign that you do like to see the positive side of things and even of people, and you're not a confrontational kind of sign at all. But I feel like this month you may be a bit more confrontational, but it's not coming from a place of just being aggressive. It's more coming from a place of maybe being fed up that you're just maybe seeing people taking advantage of other people, and like that kind of thing. So I feel like it's really like a noble cause you're going to be partaking in, or just reminding somebody that they're not doing the right thing. But then when it comes to the other cards I'm kind of seeing as well is I almost feel like it could be a situation too where you could be standing up to somebody that could even be have some kind of authority, maybe even over you. Like it could even be a work situation where there's somebody that is not being responsible and not doing what they're supposed to do. Maybe it could be a case of somebody might even be messing with your money, or like that kind of thing. With what I'm sort of feeling with this Two of Diamonds showing up next to this King of Diamonds, it could be somebody that isn't being serious about what it is that they're supposed to do, maybe even when it comes to paying you, or when it comes to even like a joint venture you decided to do with somebody. Like if you decide to partner up with somebody, that person may not be the most responsible person, even though they may make themselves out to be that way, and maybe you might have an issue with them because of that. Because I almost get this impression that you're not going to be wanting to play games in the month of June. It's like you really take what you're doing seriously, and you want people on board that also take it seriously. And I think that if you see that you and that person aren't on the same page, you're going to have issues with that person, and you're not going to be afraid to tell them about what they're doing. Yes, I'm kind of seeing it in that way. it also could be representing money matters as well. Maybe you are trying to juggle finances, trying to find ways in which that you can sort of balance out the books, sort of that kind of thing, make a bit more money. So this might be a time where you're really considering that kind of aspect of things as well, or taking on more work too, or having like a side gig that you do. Okay. And then when I look at your first financial card to show up for you, it's the hangman. And the hangman is talking about a time of, again, it could be looking at something from a different perspective. So like I mentioned before, you might decide to do some kind of dealings with somebody, and then maybe with the hangman showing up, you might think about it and then be like, I don't think I want to do this with this person anymore, because I'm sort of seeing them in a different light. Or the hangman could be saying, again, it's almost what I'm kind of feeling intuitively with this hangman showing up, is that it's telling you not to rush into a situation. It's telling you to give yourself the time to think things through. And because sometimes we can, something may sound good and we may want to get things off the ground, but then it's sort of saying, take the time to reconsider, take the time to get all the information, and then you'll be inspired to do the right thing from um from that time that you've taken. It also can mean surrendering to a circumstance. It, like, what the first word that came to mind is sort of being a martyr as well. And it's sort of interesting that the playing cards I kind of felt was like talking about you fighting for some kind of cause. It might even be, again, you've been very devoted to a cause as well, with like the hangman sort of getting this idea of a martyr coming through. Somebody, again, that might be somebody that is maybe taking on the burden of others. And I never really look at the hangman in that way, but that's sort of what I'm just feeling with these cards, because the hangman can represent like surrendering to a situation or sacrificing something. And so I almost feel like maybe you're, in some way, when it comes to your work, you're sacrificing something. Maybe you're sacrificing your time or your efforts um towards something else. Maybe you're thinking less about yourself and more about whatever overall um goal or agenda or something surrounding your work, and it's not to do with you. So, but I feel like you're gonna feel rewarded by the time and the effort that you put into things. um so that's really interesting, actually, really interesting. And then when it comes to relationships, those of you that are in relationships, you have the Princess of Wands. And what this is kind of telling me is that you are going to be really it can mean fun times. It can mean a feeling of newness surrounding a relationship. It could mean that things are just going to be a bit more lighthearted, a bit more fun. The passion might be restored in a relationship. And I feel like it's just more of a time of just feeling a bit more optimistic relationship wise. Again, having fun. If there's been difficulties or challenges in a relationship, this passion is going to restore things. It's almost like a young love. Like, if your relationship felt like it was just getting a bit drab, it's like that feeling of young love is going to be coming back, and the excitement surrounding your partner and all that kind of stuff is going to be coming back. So that's really nice. Yeah, that's what I get for you guys that are in relationships. For those of you that are single, you have the star card, so there's hope there for you. There's hope for I really feel like if if any of you guys have been dealing with a situation of heartbreak, it's saying that your heart is going to be mended this month. It's saying that there's hopes and dreams and wishes that you have can be coming to you this month. And but I feel like a lot of these hopes and dreams and wishes are going to come true the more you nurture yourself and the more you take care of yourself in the meantime. Because, sometimes we can really feel like, okay, you know, sometimes our focus can be on a relationship when really it has to kind of be more on ourselves and our own healing and our own process that we need to go through internally. But it's saying that even as you go through that process and even as things are being healed away within yourself, the universe is almost masterminding this plan where you are going to get the dreams and the wishes that you want. So if that dream and wish is for you to meet somebody, it actually could be coming through for you. Like some kind of fairy dust or stardust can be actually surrounding that situation, sort of in the astral planes that you don't see yet, but it's coming together. So that's a nice card. And that card, to me, it also can be connecting with those of you that are in relationships too, because where there can be this revival in love, the star card can mean things being brought to greater harmony, greater peace, any difficulties being mended, they're going away, and so you guys can connect on a deeper level. Interestingly enough, we had all them lovely cards, and then we had the devil sort of putting the full stop on the reading. And so but then it showed up in your spiritual cards, which, to be honest, I think the devil is actually is probably a nicer place for it to show up versus if it was in your relationships or if it was in your work. Those kind of places you really don't want the devil to be. But I think when the devil kind of shows up for your spiritual cards, it's kind of saying that this is a time to sort of bring where things may be coming up for you, that need to be released, basically. The devil card basically speaks of the lower self, our materialistic self, our ego, and the spiritual self is all about the higher self. So it's almost telling you that there might be some things that you have to get rid of, or you have to be able to shift. And maybe just like this hangman showing up in your work situation, you may have to change your perspective in terms of the way you look at certain things in your life at this time, so that you're able to understand, okay, the importance of the spiritual plane, but then you're not sort of buying into all the trappings of the spiritual world. And the difference is that when you look at it, when you look at this, the physical plane from a spiritual perspective, you start to see that we are the creators of our own reality, and that, you know, the things that we have here really are all kind of illusion and delusion, basically, because we look at things from our own perspective. And if you think about it, even though we look at things with, you know, through our own physical eyes, it doesn't mean that it's real. We believe it's real, but in the matrix, it's like everything is sort of just being created and formed. But then it's not like we have to buy into the whole the existence of all these things, because I think sometimes when we buy into the existence of these things, we tend to think that we try to treat everything like it is real, and like we and then that's when we grow attachments to things that in actuality we shouldn't be so much attached to. Let me say it in a better way. Basically, it's almost like in a human way, we feel that we're very entitled as humans. We're very entitled. We think that we should just get the things that we want all the time. And not only do we think we can get the things that we want all the time, we do attach ourselves to these physical things, or whether it's money, whether it's our relationships, people, even being a mother. You know, I'm a mother to a child, and you know, when you have a child, you can feel like, oh well, that's my child. But in actuality, that child has come into this world being their own individual. Yes, I birthed him, but he's his own person. He's not my possession. The same way, you know, I can pick up my mobile phone and say, well, that's my possession. Well, in a way, yeah, I bought it, but at the same time, I don't have to form an unhealthy attachment to it. Like, okay, if it goes missing, I'll feel sad, but then I have to get over it, because that's that's the way it goes. Things are easy come, they're easy go. You have to get over it and move on. When we form unhealthy attachments to things, that's when we find it very hard to get over things and very hard to move on. But in life, that's what we have to go through, because things are always chopping and changing all the time. That's why when we look at universal principles, that's why we're not supposed to get too attached to the trappings of the world, because that's when, we get caught up in the devil, the trap of the devil that makes us think that, that's what we're supposed to be be going for in life is just things of this world and not to really consider things of the spiritual realm. But what this card is saying is that maybe this might be a time where you sort of are learning to put those things into perspective. And maybe this is also a time where you don't want to feel trapped. You want to feel free. You want to be able to express yourself. You want to be able to move into different ventures, do different things. And that might be also why you're being more vocal this month, because maybe you've just decided that, you know what, I'm not going to be bound by any circumstances, the circumstances of other people, trying to influence me, or people trying to have their stronghold over me. I'm going to break free of all those things, and I'm going to really say how I feel, and I'm really going to stand up for what I believe in. And so then I can sort of break free of the dominance of this devil, which is what we're here to do at the end of the day. That's what we're all here to do as human beings. So it's not an easy lesson. I'm not saying all of this to make it seem like it's easy. Like I said, it's very easy for all of us to be attached to material things, or attached to anything, in this world. But again, it's just about putting things into perspective, and knowing what is really important in life. So yes, peace and blessings to you. I'll see you, Sagittarius. Bye.